December 1st, 2019. Joe here at Simple Life Show. I appreciate everybody for joining me today. I decided to do a little quick video about some news that I just heard about that just recently passed over the last day or so. There was a transgender persons bill that was just passed in India. I don't know if you know about this or not. It's had several revisions over the past few years. Back in 2014, the Supreme Court there in India delivered its judgment in the National Legal Service Authority versus Union of India, in which it recognized the rights of the transgender persons in India and laid down a series of measures for securing transgender persons' rights by mandating prohibition of discrimination, recommending the creation of welfare policies and reservations for transgender persons in educational institutions and jobs. It seems like it's a very, very progressive step forward. I am all for that. They've actually gone through a couple of iterations over the past few years. Here in 2019, they just passed another one. So what is in this? What is in this new bill? Okay, so what it's called is the 2019 Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Bill. And before I even go forward, I think that it's really, I think it's important to note that India is actually being very progressive when it comes to this. I think that they are really concerned about the welfare of the transgender population over in India. I don't know how many there are in India. I'm assuming that it's maybe somewhere around the same amount, maybe less as a percentage of the population. There's a lot of people in India. But they are really progressive when it comes to this, and I think that it is a good thing that they are trying to protect the transgender population. However, the problem with this is that the transgender, at least the majority of the transgender population of India, are vehemently opposed to this bill, as they have on several bills. So why are they opposed to this? And I had to read this just to kind of get an understanding of what their viewpoint is. First, the bill states that a transgender person will have the right to self-perceived gender identity. This means that they can be whatever gender they want to be. They can perceive whatever gender. They don't have to actually have the gender assignment surgery to do this. Activists are saying the change of gender identity in documents cannot be done without a certification by the district magistrate after proof of sex reassignment surgery is provided. This is incorrect. This is a clever way of saying that if you want to say, let's just say that you were born a female or born a male, and you want to identify as the opposite sex, then you have to provide proof of that before they will actually identify you as either a male or female. Now, if you want to identify as a male or female or transgender or however you want to propose that you identify yourself, India is saying that, yes, we'll identify you as transgender and you'll have the same rights and protections. It will even say that you're transgender. What they are upset about is that it won't say whether you're male or female. You have to have proof of that. I don't think that that's such a bad thing because on my license it says male. They had to prove I was male when I was born when they were doing my birth certificate. And that's why you have to provide your birth certificate, at least some proof that you're either male or female when you get your driver's license. Now, this might be a little bit of oversimplification. I'm not trying to be insensitive to all the needs of the transgender population. What I am saying is that compared to a lot of other countries, and even this one, and even the United States, India is taking a very, very progressive role when it comes to this on protecting people who are identifying as transgender. And the name transgender itself is an umbrella term. One of the biggest problems that the transgender population does have with this bill is that it's not inclusive enough. I'm not sure what that means, but one of the problems that they have with this bill is that it doesn't say a certain thing, or it's not titled a certain way. Now, if the bill was to entitle every single type of transgender, type of identifier inside the bill, as far as the title, that title would be pages long. It's just unreasonable to actually do that. So they titled it the Transgender Persons Protection. I think it's, what is it called? Protection, rights, protection of rights. bill of 2019. Going forward here, the bill enforces a minor's right of residence, compelling any trans person below 18 to cohabitate with their native family. Activists are saying the families are often a source of gruesome violence against the trans community, leading them to separate them from native family. Now, if you have a trans person that is under 18 and they are being abused by their family, well, that's against the law in India. They can be prosecuted, and especially under the transgender, this protection bill, which protects against violence. Now, anyone who's transgender, whatever country that you're in, you shouldn't have to endure any kind of violence against you. You should be free to identify however you want. However, if you are under 18 and if you're not being abused, then according to India's law, this should be actually part of the bill as well. This is probably nothing new for India. So, while I do not agree vehemently against any violence against any person of any sexual orientation, race, creed, religion, whatsoever, I think that a lot of these arguments against this bill is, I think it's kind of reaching. I think that India is really getting really progressive. I've been reading up on this for a while now, and it looks like they are really trying to protect the transgender community. They've been doing so for years now. The bill criminalizes begging. I'm not exactly sure what is up with that one here. Does not offer reservations for employment and education. Now, one of the things that it does actually provide for the transgender community is that it will not be discriminated against for jobs, employment, education. What the transgender, and I've actually been reading on this, is that what they are demanding is special reservations. They are actually asking for their own spot within employment. They are asking for guaranteed employment. They're asking for guaranteed education. This is not what this is all about. This is that's the whole socialist mindset that I keep talking about. Just because you're transgender, and I'm sorry this offends you if you are transgender, I have nothing against you, but just because you are part of a certain group, whether it's transgender or not, whatever, a different race, a different religion, creed, whatever, that does not give you special rights to take employment from someone else. It does not give you special rights to take the seat at a college or any kind of educational institution from someone else just because you identify as another sex, or identify as another race, or identify as something else, or identify with any other group that does not give you the right to say that I have a special place here, and you need to make special accommodations for me because of this. And even if that was so, let's say that there was some sort of reservation for that. Wouldn't it make more sense? Wouldn't it be at least something to require you to actually prove that you are transgender at that point? If there was, I'm just spitballing. I'm just saying. But it doesn't even require that. You can say that you're transgender, and it'll get a stamp of approval. Boom, you're protected under that bill. But if you want to label yourself as a different sex, as either male or female, you can't just say, well, I'm just going to be female. I'm going to go to the magistrate's office, and they're going to, I'll just go ahead and make a quick phone call, and they'll send me my new identification. That's not how any of this works. That would be ridiculous. Just think about it. If there were all these reservations for special treatment, guess what? Everybody's transgender now. I know I would be. I would make a quick phone call and say, yeah, I want all this free stuff too. Give it to me. Yeah, I know this is a little oversimplification of the problem. And believe me, I sympathize with people who are transgender or any other group who are having to go through anything that they should not have to go through, period. I am in the United States. I live under the Republic. I live under the Constitution. I know this Constitution doesn't apply to everybody in the world. I wish every country had a similar Constitution. But what India is doing right now is very progressive, and I completely agree with it. I'm totally on board with that. But to ask for special treatment, no. I do not agree with special treatment. I've never agreed with anybody getting special treatment. You get ahead in this world just simply because of your individual characteristics that you have, your drive and your stamina and what you want to offer society. I don't think anyone should be displaced by another person just because they're part of one group or another. Period. End of story. That's where the story ends. I want to live in a country where I can live across the way from someone who might be a communist and has their communist ideologies, but we can live in unity with one another without offending each other. We can be free to do whatever we want to do, and the government won't come in and say you have to do this or you have to get up off your chair and give your chair to someone else. Or you have to give up half your paycheck to someone else because they are part of some sort of group that's been marginalized in the past. We all need to go forward as one. We have the far right that is saying that they have their completely messed up ideologies as well, and you have the far left that wants communism and socialism and all this other kind of stuff. We need to find a common ground and move forward. We do not need to go down this road where one group decides that it wants to subvert the freedoms of everyone else because that's just what they want. Okay? So I would suggest looking into this. Apparently, the transgender population is highly opposed to this. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm not going to assume because I am not transgender myself. But after reading the bill, it looks pretty reasonable to me. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me. I am not above correction. But as far as just reading the bill and reading stuff of what the transgender community is talking about, I think they need to take a win on this. This is a good thing, and it's all about going forward, and it's all about progressing forward towards, not so much. I hate using the word equality. I think that we should all be treated equally. I don't think that the whole equality of outcome really is a utopian type of concept, which doesn't work in reality. It really doesn't. Because then you end up with a whole bunch of people that are miserable, but they're all equally miserable. We know how that goes. So until next time, this is Joe with Simple Life Show. I will see you in the next one, and have a great day. Bye.